Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Please, before we begin the program, please we really appreciate. Let's move to the front here so that those who will be joining us later, they will be taking the class in inshallah.
That's fair, so you might fix it. Education is a fundamental variable in every society. It is the bedrock of development in a nation. Nigeria's education system is challenged and troubled. This is due to bad policy or good initiative but badly implemented by the successive administration. As we speak, many have called for the declaration of state of emergency in the education system. This is another pointer to the fact that all is not well. The chairman of today's occasion, inshallah, he will be joining us very shortly from now. Our guest speaker, inshallah, is right here. The district Amir and members of the executive, our mothers, elders, leaders of the companion, brothers and sisters in Islam, I welcome you all to the Companion Lagos District Conference Public Lecture with the theme Education for Sustainable Development and topic Rethinking Tertiary Education Standards in Nigeria. Once again, I welcome all of you to this August occasion, inshallah. Without wasting too much of time,
may Allah make it beneficial for all Ummah in general. Beseech Him to continue to be with us, protect us, make adequate and enough provision for all of us. May Allah, who is the protector of all human beings, continue to protect all of us. Most especially, we need to remember our brothers in Palestine. May Allah be with them and make them fi Rahmani Rahim. Li'ila fi Quraysh, ila fihim rihlat ash-shita'i was-sayf, falyabudu rabba hadha al-bayt alladhi at'amahum min ju'in wa amanahum min khawf.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the prayer. May Allah make this program to be a very successful one, inshallah. Amen. We continue with the program, and that's with the recognition of dignitaries that we have here. Inshallah, we are skipping that of a chairman of the occasion, inshallah, because we are still expecting him. Oh, sorry. Okay, yes, today's program is going to be presided over by one of the leaders, elders in the companion, both at the Lagos and then at the national level. He is a former Amir, the companion Lagos district. He is also the national Amir of the companion, former national Amir of the companion. I'm talking of no other person than Al-Hajj Tabit Wale Shunayiki. Takbir, Takbir, Takbir. Alhamdulillah, we welcome our elder and our leader in the companion, Alhaji Shunaike. Alhaji Shunaike is the Deputy Managing Director, Courtville Business Solution PLC. Now, followed by him is that personality, that erudite personality that is going to lead the conversation on the topic of this conference. A scholar an academician of repute, join me in inviting and in calling to this side of the hall Professor Khalid Olajide Adekoya. Takbir. 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 Well, for those of us who might not know, Professor Adekoya is of Department of Cell Biology and Genetics of University of Lagos. We welcome you. Welcome. We move on with the introduction. The person that we're going to invite to the high table, inshallah, is also former Amir of the Companion Lagos District. And then presently, he is the Noib Amir of the National Companion. I am talking of the one and only, our own Imam Nojimuddin Jimoh. Takbir. Takbir. Bismillah. Takbir. Thank you very much. We welcome Imam Nojimuddin Jimoh. And before we introduce the host for today, let's also introduce and invite to the high table one of the foremost members of the Companion, also one time the Amir of the Companion Lagos District, a former national Amir of the Companion, an Islamic worker par excellence, barrister, if you want me to add that, Alhaj Musbah Adewale Oyefeso. Takbir. Takbir. Thank you so much. Alhaji Oyefeso, we welcome you to our midst. Bismillah.
The next personality we are going to introduce is no other person but the National Amir of Lagos District. Amir. Alhaj Engineer Olalekan Sanusi.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I deliberately introduced him before Amir because in Yoruba land, you usually say, Imam Lumumbe Imam. So, the Bible is very Islamized in Yoruba. Permit me to introduce the number one citizen of the Companion of Lagos District. And that's no other person but our own dear Amir, Alhaj Olayiwola Abdul Kadir Barua. Ẹgbẹ́ lọ tóbi fún wọn. Tí kìí bá ṣe tẹ̀sìn ní, wọ́n ṣe rọra ìgbò yìí, táwọn àríkájọ́ òkú wọ́n ṣe lórí ìlú wa ní. Bẹ́ẹ̀ láwọn bàbá láyé, ọjọ́ ní àfẹ́rọra wà ní ìkàlẹ̀ pẹ̀lẹ̀pẹ̀lẹ̀ ọlọ́run ìjọ ọlọ́run àbí. I also want to recognize the presence of the criterion members here seated. We say thank you for honoring our invitation. Allah will continue to be with you and bless you all.
And specifically on that, we like to recognize the presence of one of the frontline, the criterion members. For those of us who might not know, the criterion is the flip side of the companion. That is the group of Muslim women in business and the professions. We recognize the presence of Alhaja Fatima Oyefeso. You are welcome, ma. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Okay, yes, we invite you to that side of the hall to have your seat there, inshallah. Bismillah. Equally, we recognize the presence and we invite to that side of the hall Alaja Nemota Barua to join Alaja Oyefeso on the table there, inshallah. Takbir. We recognize all our mothers who are here. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to be with all of you. Everybody is very, very important, and then we recognize everybody. Allah will continue to be with each and every one of us. So we continue with the program.
I also have the honor to introduce and invite to the high table Al-Haja Adekoya Gafar. Al-Haja Adekoya Gafar. Also, Al-Haja Amina Muhammad. You are invited to join the table. Thank you.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, we move on with the program. The next on the agenda is recitation from the Holy Quran. And we have our children from one of the private schools around, namely Lofty Gem Schools, located at Okeyaro in Ogun State. I have the pleasure to invite our dear son, namely Abibulai Ojewuyi, to come and do the recitation from the Holy Quran. Bismillah.
Ojewusi. Ọmọ lọ sọ wà pé àkọ́rọ̀ dáadáa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم. ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا وإذا خلوا إلى شياطينهم قالوا إنا معكم إنما نحن مستهزئون الله يستهزئ بهم ويمدهم في طغيانهم يعمهون أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى فما ربحت تجارتهم وما كانوا مهتدين مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا فلما ضاءت ما حوله ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون صم بكم عمي فهم لا يرجعون أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم واستغشوا ثيابهم وأصروا واستكبروا استكبارا
Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. We thank our nation sincerely for that beautiful recitation from the Quran. His name is Abibullah or J.U.E. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless him. May Allah make him to grow to an adult, and may Allah make him to be a righteous child for his parent. Bismillah. We want to continue very briefly with the recognition of the dignitaries in our midst, inshallah. I have the privilege to introduce and as well invite to the platform the chairman, board of director, board of trustee of the company, board of trustee of the company, in no other person but Al-Hajj Walidullah Oliva. Takbir. Takbir. Welcome our father. You are welcome, sir. So the chairman DOT is greeting the RS and the executive members on the platform. You are highly welcome, sir. Alhamdulillah. Now we continue with the program. Before we hand over to the chairman of the occasion to continue with the headship of the program today, inshallah. If we look at our program, the next on the agenda is the chief host for this program to speak to all of us. Why are we here? Before we now begin to start the conversation, the real conversation for today. And it is under this premises that I invite the Amir, the companion Lagos District, Al-Hajj Abdul-Kabir Olayiwola Baruwa. Bismillah.
Okay. For the live stream. Okay. Ẹ̀rọ àpètè mo fẹ́ lọ owó sí ni. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله the merciful. All praise and adoration is due to Allah, the creator of the universe and the Lord of the worlds. I testify that no one is worthy of worship except Him. May the mercy and blessing of Allah be upon the best of mankind, our holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, his companions, and all Muslims who follow his path the day of judgment. Amen. We are immensely grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for preserving our life till today. And we pray that He continue to strengthen our faith and make our faith firm on the path of Din al-Islam. I have this singular honor and privilege to welcome you to the annual conference of our great association, the Companion, and I greet you all with the noblest greeting of Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before I proceed my speech, I would like to recognize some of the dignitaries we have here present with us. Firstly, I pay homage and great respect to our father, the chairman of the BOT of our great association, in the person of my brother, Alhaji Waliullah Onibon. Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence here today. Again, I also want to recognize the presence of my also very good friend. We've been around for so long. Alhaji David Wale Shonaike, who is the chairman of today's occasion. He's been everything companion from the district Amir to the national Amir, and currently the deputy president of Muslim. So we are also very honored to have you here with us. He's also a great worker of Islam. Again, we have here the deputy national president of our great association. Is my big brother. He's also imam par excellence. You know, when you are an imam of Lekki congregation, you are an imam par excellence. And that's our dear Imam Nabidin Jimo. We thank you for being here with us. And by extension, I'm sure you'll be representing the national Amir. We are expecting him. He's already in Lagos. I'm sure he's all the way from Ilorin. I'm sure he'll be joining us anytime from now. Also, here with us, and you know, it's also very interesting that it's also, you know, one of our fathers in the companion is being the district Amir as well as the national Amir. That's Alhaji Oyefeso. We are here honored to have you here with us. And again, I would also like to specially recognize our guest lecturer of today, okay, Professor Khalid Adekoya. He came much earlier before most of us, you know, arrived, and that's the honor of a Muslim who keeps to time. Again, I also recognizing some of our mothers that are here. Okay, we have here from the Criterion side, Alhaja Oyefeso. I'm sure probably he stepped out. We also have, you know, here present with us, Alhaja Amina Mohammed. We want to appreciate you for being around. Alhaja Nimat Barua. We also appreciate you for being around with us here, as well as Alhaja Abdulgafar is here with us. We appreciate you for being around with us. Okay, we also have Professor Yakub, also here from the Criterion. We appreciate you for honoring us with your presence. I have. Yeah. Again, for all the companion members that are here, we will not take your presence for granted. We appreciate you for being here with us. For all the Criterion members here, we also appreciate you. I'm happy you are here with your large numbers. You are the software that makes life tick. If you are not here, all the hardware will not function effectively. So thank you for honoring us with your presence. And then to all the members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, we also appreciate you for honoring us with your presence at today's August occasion. I continue with my speech. This year's public lecture is one of the interventions of the companion to spotlight a critical sector of the economy and which holds the key to reshaping the trajectory of our nation's development. The progress that any country makes has a direct correlation with the development of its education sector. Hence, the choice of this year's conference topic, Rethinking Tertiary Education Standard in Nigeria, which will be delivered by our erudite scholar, Professor Khalid Adekoya from the prestigious University of Lagos, Akoka. No doubt, the standard of education at all levels is very important. However, tertiary education is the bedrock and barometer of measuring development and progress of any nation. There is no gainsaying the fact that a nation that has a well-developed and adequately funded education system will be characterized by an enlightened society that is prosperous, healthy, and futuristic with breakthrough research, innovation, and creativity that will continue to expand the frontiers of knowledge. A critical assessment of our tertiary education will reveal that whereas there has been a geometric rise in the numbers of higher institutions owned and operated by governments and private bodies, however, the quality of academic and the products, that is, the graduates of this institution, have been below par. A dispassionate assessment of the learning environment of our institution will reveal an acute shortage of critical infrastructure necessary for optimal learning, overcrowded classroom and lecture theaters, poor accessibility to broadband and internet facilities, appalling state of dormitories and hostel facilities, ill-equipped laboratories for science and engineering courses, incessant strike by lecturers with attendant disruption of academic calendars. This identified myriad of challenges have no doubt affected the quality and depth of knowledge as well as skills of graduates produced by tertiary institutions. Another major issue that we need to interrogate is our fixation and acquisition of degrees and certificates rather than skills that will enable our graduates to compete in the emerging global economy, where emphasis is now placed on generative artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, robotics engineering, nano and biotechnology, as well as big data. We need a paradigm shift from a degree-focused education system to a system that prioritizes practical skills and competencies. A renewed focus on skill-based education system will enhance the employability and competitiveness of our graduates at the global stage. In the dynamic workplace of today, possession of right skill set is essential for adaptability, innovativeness, resilience, development, and sustainability of an agile workforce. Without prejudice to the views that will be expressed by our guest lecturer, I would like to advise that in rethinking our strategy to reposition our higher institutions, more funding should be made available from the budgetary system. It's also imperative for our higher institutions to attract funding from the private sector through endowment and professorial shares. Our universities should be recalibrated to become global center of academic research and innovation with breakthrough patents that the private sector will adopt on a commercial scale. This will ultimately lead to attracting more funds into research and development initiative of our higher institutions. It is imperative for me to draw attention to the unfolding drama and clandestine qualities of elevation of ICC to preeminent level in most of the southwestern states. No doubt, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria guarantees the freedom of religion in the country. More importantly is the fact that there is no compulsion of religion in Islam, as stated in several verses of the glorious Quran. However, it is worrisome that Isheshe religion practitioners often make proclamations restricting movement of people in the observation of their religion rights. In some affected communities, Women are not allowed to step out of their whole houses for several days, while the men folks are restricted from going out within some hours of the day. Such curfews are not only obnoxious, but flagrantly contravenes the nation's constitution that guarantees free movement of people. Our recent history is replete with incidents of violent attacks on innocent citizens, such as the widely reported case of Sheikh Sofwan Akodo that was brutally hacked down in 2007 by 7 members of Awu Curtis Atepe. And just last year, in 2002, a violent clash ensued at Agege when a worshipper clashed with some church members who were on night vigil, leading to the death of one person, while several others sustained serious injuries. We are hereby calling on the Lagos State government to rise up to our constitutional duty of protecting the rights of citizens in our domain by ensuring that this aberration is nipped in the bud before it degenerates into a religious crisis that might threaten the safety and peaceful coexistence of the citizens and residents of the state. In the same vein, we also like to enjoin the Lagos House of Assembly to enact law and statutes that will proscribe all such anachronistic practices associated with the restriction of movement during the festival of Isheshe religion. This will be in line with our constitutional responsibility of making law for the well-being of residents in the state. On a final note, I'd like to call on our brothers and sisters in Islam to show more interest in participating in active politics. The trajectory of politics and politicking in the Southwest region demands active engagement of Muslim professionals in the political space, as recent developments have revealed that we are most likely to be marginalized if we remain apolitical and disinterested in the governance structure, be it at the elective or executive or legislative elective level. We should also up the ante in our advocacy and push for good governance and representative democracy. It is against this backdrop that I would like to commend all Islamic organizations, scholars, and individuals that participated in the recent clamor and public demonstration to protest the lopsided appointment by Lagos State Governor in constituting its cabinet members. While I'm happy to note that the companion played a pivotal role in collaborating with like-minded Islamic organizations under the umbrella of Joint Muslim Forum and the Muslim Community of Lagos State to put this injustice on the front burner. This our collective action has sent a clear message that Muslims' interests cannot be taken for granted, and our elected leaders will be held accountable for their actions. In conclusion, I wish to thank you all for attending this conference and wish you a pleasant time with us. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamu ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The companion, are we here? The companion. One more time, the companion. And the other side of the coin, the criterion. MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
I have the honor to welcome and introduce the Tutor General, Permanent Secretary, Education District 6, in person of Al-Hajjah, Dr. Sharifa Yusuf, the High Level.
Takbir wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Equally, we also recognize the presence of the first Doctor of Economics, Lagos State University, person of Dr. Jamila Yakub. Takbir. Professor Jamila Yakub, I'm very sorry, ma'am. So sorry, apology, sincere apology, ma'am. Yes, we recognize the presence of Dr. Mumuni Alawi. He's one of the elders in the companion. You are welcome, sir. We also recognize the presence of the former Nohib Lamir, the companion Lagos District, in person of Professor Yakub Muhammad. Equally, we recognize the presence of the former Amir, the companion Lagos District, Alhaji Abdul Majid, Alhaji Abdul Ghani Abdul Majid. You are welcome. Inshallah, we continue with the program. Please, let's.
let's note this information. And the restroom for the sisters is in this area. That's door. The restroom for sisters, while the brothers will have to go out to eat themselves because of one reason or the other. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So inshallah, we will hand over the microphone to the chairman of the occasion who will speak to us, and then he will also continue with the procession of the program, inshallah.
Allah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. The Amir of the Companion Lagos District has laid a good foundation for the protocol, and I do not intend to repeat that. He has done an excellent job, and he has greeted every one of us, and therefore I will go straight into the most acceptable greetings in Islam by saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is indeed a great honor and pleasure for which I must thank the leadership of the Companion Lagos District for considering me worthy of being invited as chairman and special guest at this auspicious occasion of the annual district conference. It is my prayer that this event here today will lead not only to the transformation of the district, but also a benefit to members and the overall development of our society. I'm particularly fascinated by the choice of the main theme titled Education for Sustainable Development, and the sub-theme Rethinking Tertiary Education Standard in Nigeria. The themes incorporate the aspiration for enduring and competitive quality and standard development in Nigeria tertiary education, cutting across personnel, professional, institutional, and societal development. Tertiary education in Nigeria and elsewhere is very vital for the training and production of high-level skilled manpower, as well as middle-level and technical workforce required for rapid and sustainable socio-economic and technological development of any nation. The widespread recognition that tertiary education is a major driver of economic competitiveness in an increasingly knowledge-driven global economy has made tertiary education more important than ever before. Therefore, it deserves all attention and support it could get from all stakeholders, including government, employers, parents, professionals, students, labor unions, private institutions, local and international donor agencies, and so on. I am also not surprised that you dedicated this conference to discuss education, knowing fully well that education is one of the 4 focus areas of the companion. It is common knowledge, especially among stakeholders, that concern have been expressed about the standard of education in our tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Perhaps the loudest concern came from the poor ranking of our universities and the employers of the graduates from these institutions. As an employer myself, I can testify that while there are very good and brilliant graduates from these institutions, there are also terribly bad and unemployable graduates from the institutions. And this has partly brought about a question mark on the standard of education in our tertiary institutions. It has also generated a call for a rethink of tertiary education standards in our institutions of higher learning. Whatever the case may be, this should not be totally unexpected given the astronomical growth in both the number of tertiary institutions and student enrollment in the institutions. Within 43 years, covering 1980 to June 2023, the number of accredited and approved universities in Nigeria moved from 13 to 264. And I repeat that again. The number of accredited and approved universities in Nigeria in 43 years moved from 13 to 264. Of course, enrollment also jumped from a projected 108,000 students by 1985 to 2.3 million students in 2023. This, according to the statistics, is just 12% of the total population of Nigeria, estimated at 220 million. The Executive Secretary of the National University Commission was therefore also recently quoted to have said that the nation still needed more universities because millions of youths who desire to earn university degrees could not do so due to limited access to university education. According to him, access to university education remains a challenge due to high demand and increasing number of secondary school graduates. In the same vein, the number of approved private polytechnics has moved from nil, 0 in 1980. As in 1980, there was no private polytechnic, but it has moved to 87 private polytechnics by year 2022. This is in addition to 53 state polytechnics, and 40 federal polytechnics, making a total of 180 polytechnics. There are also 55 approved and accredited specialized institutions offering tertiary education in the country. In addition to these are 35 colleges of agriculture, 68 public and 22 private colleges of health science and technology, and several other innovations and vocational enterprise institutions providing tertiary education in Nigeria. The trend is almost the same in our colleges of education, where primary school and junior secondary school teachers are trained and produced. The number of institutions and the figures of enrollment in this category of tertiary education has also increased tremendously over the years. I need not bore you with more figures in this direction. I must add, however, that I strongly suspect that the intention of the organizers is probably limited to the three most popular categories of tertiary education, namely university, polytechnics, and colleges of education. Whichever way you look at it, it is obvious that the standard of tertiary education, whether in public or private institutions in Nigeria, has come under severe threat and compromise arising from various factors, such as underfunding. Inappropriate funding has multi-dimensional implications which affect the standard of education being provided by these institutions. These include inadequate infrastructural facilities, poor remuneration of lecturers, including backlogs of unpaid salaries and allowances. Of course, we are aware that the President has directed that the backlogs of salary for teachers, the university teachers, be paid. I hope it's done. Other implications arising from poor funding include inadequate classrooms and lecture rooms, leading to overcrowded classrooms, poorly equipped libraries, laboratories, and workshops, as well as shortage of qualified academic staff, including in season strike by both academic and non-academic staff. Furthermore, factors such as corruption, brain drain, poor research funding, weak administration, lack of autonomy, and political interference have also contributed in one way or the other to the perceived poor standard of tertiary education in Nigeria. The issue of insecurity has also become a significant factor affecting education generally in Nigeria. We must also recognize the issue of relevance of curriculum and programs to the socio-economic and technological development of the country. Where there is a mismatch or gap between industry and labor requirement and courses being offered by the institutions, the issue of standard becomes immaterial. Our situation is further worsened by the extreme emphasis which our society places on academic qualifications from tertiary institutions. This in turn has brought about untold pressure on these institutions and the overstretching of their human and material resources to the extent that standards are compromised in most cases. In the midst of this situation, however, we must not lose sight of the fact that Nigerian-born and trained students are still performing very well all over the world. Be that as it may, we must recognize the need for our tertiary institutions to embrace more innovative, more creative, more constructive, as well as develop more forward-thinking curriculum to enrich higher standards in teaching, learning, and research. Such curriculum should produce students who are industry ready, serve the demands of our economy, promote entrepreneurship, and forge collaborations and partnership with local industry and advanced foreign institutions of higher learning to prepare a higher education relevant for national development and global competitiveness. I must also add, however, that the issue of standard education in our tertiary institution cannot be successfully addressed in isolation of the standard of education in our primary and secondary schools, where the foundation of education is faulty or questionable at these two levels. The rethink of standard of tertiary education is not likely to achieve any meaningful impact. Finally, as a nation, we also require a rethink, or if you like it, a rebirth of our attitude. We are a nation of shortcuts or quick fix. We must change our miracle mentality in always looking for short-time solutions and tendency to cut corners to address issues and solve problems. We must embrace painstaking search for enduring and sustainable solutions. This attitude is manifested in various national issues. We import fuel rather than fix our refineries. We import SUV, sport utility vehicles, and so-called rugged vehicles rather than fix our roads. We rush abroad for medical treatment rather than fix our hospitals. And now we send our children to school abroad rather than fix our schools. Available statistics indicate that Nigerians spent a whopping sum of $1.88 billion between January and September 2021. And on tertiary education, and we spent $1.38 billion for the same period in 2022. These expenditures are above the total budgetary allocation to higher education in Nigeria in the 2 years of 2021 and 2022. We cannot be spending so much money to educate fewer students abroad at the expense of millions in Nigeria and expect a higher standard of tertiary institutions. Indeed, we need a rethink of our education in totality. In conclusion, I wish to once again thank members of the Companion Lagos District for this wonderful opportunity to share the district conference and invite you all to pay attention to the guest speaker as he provides a more scholarly insight into the theme of the conference lecture. I thank you all for listening and wish you all a pleasant time. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Thank you.
Takbir. Takbir. That was the former national Amir of the Companion, and of course, who is also the chairman of this occasion, Alhaj Tabit Wale Shunaki. Thank you so much, and you will agree with me that opening address is so detailed. I see probably we are having the lecture ahead of time. Thank you very much, sir.
Permit me to invite to join the high table a former Amir of the Lagos District in person of Alhaj Abdul Majid. You are highly welcome, sir. You are also invited to the high table. I also have the honor to acknowledge the presence of a former rector, Lagos State Polytechnic, Dr. Abdul Aziz Abioyi Lawal. Please stand up for recognition. Is a member of the Companion, Mushi Zo. Alhamdulillah. You are highly welcome, sir. Sorry, sir. I also want to recognize the presence of our fathers. I repeat, fathers from Ikorodu Coastal Zone. One of them is Alhaj JB Aliyu Alhaj Engineer Abdul Majid Adekoya, Alhaj AK Sali, and also Alhaj Bello Thaki of Oshiri, and lots of others. You are highly welcome, sir. Yes.
Thank you very much. Also, I'd like to recognize the presence of the Amira of the Criterion Lagos District in person of Mrs. Moria Muse Saba. You are welcome, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, Mr. Chairman, inshallah, will continue from this point. Inshallah.
Before you, Mr. Chairman, sir, I'm sorry once again, I'm being directed to tell our mothers to keep their backs to the face so that others can have more space to sit. I also have the honor to invite to the platform Alhaj JB Ali Oluwakoyi. You are highly welcome and invited, sir. Although he doesn't like to be in the platform, but I'm being directed because I know him. He's my father. But I'm being directed to do so. So you know my sir. He's a member of BOT, a member of the BOT of the Companion. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum. You're highly welcome. Your presence means lots to us. Thank you for honoring this occasion. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. After he is seated, I will hand over other activities to the chairman of the occasion, our own dear father, Alhaj Thabit Wali Sunakis.
I think by now we are all in the mood. The program is set, and we would, if you go through the program on page 4, we have moved very far, and we are item 7. Item 7 of the program of today, and we will be calling on one of our brothers, Tertiary, who is going to do a citation of the guest lecturer. We implore the guest lecturer to stand up when the citation is being read, not when it's being read. Our guest speaker today, or lecturer, sometime last year, I can't remember the date, delivered inaugural lecture in this year, at the University of Lagos. And if you are opportune to be at that event, you will know that it was a scholarly presentation where he spoke about genes, about cell biology, about a lot that I'm not able to because I'm not qualified to be a professor, not particularly in cell biology. We invited him to my office for a presentation to our middle management training, and he also did a wonderful job. So I have no doubt in my mind today that if all attention is paid, we will take away one thing or the other. While we have in our list government officials, I'm sure they will pass it on. Anyone that is looking at the live streaming will also pick one or two things. Then as companions, we will also send our recommendation to government. So that today you have the floor, citation of the guest speaker now.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Indeed, Professor Adekoya has done a wonderful job before. He's going to do a very good job here today again. Now I present the profile of Professor Khalid Adekoya. Khalid Olajide Adekoya is a professor of genetics in the Department of Cell Biology and Genetics, Faculty of Science, University of Lagos. He holds a PhD in cell biology and genetics from UNILAG in 2009. He attended Ansarudeen College, Isolo, for his secondary education. Professor Adekoya has attended training in his area of research at the Biotechnology Nuclear Agricultural Research Institute in Accra, Ghana, Forensic DNA Laboratory, University of Western Cape, South Africa, Emory University, USA, and Nigerian Institute of Medical Research on HIV training program, among others. His area of research includes, but not limited to, genetics, gynogenetics, genotoxicology, molecular genetics, conservation and forensics. He has over 80 publications, co-authored 3 books, and he has attended over 120 conferences and workshops where he presented papers and posters as researcher or keynote speaker within and outside the country. His publications have shown tremendous contributions to knowledge in human genetics, medical genetics, conservation biology, forensic and toxicology studies in Nigeria. Professor Adekoya has been a leader or member of teams in grant and fellowship in various areas from diverse fields of genetics, conservation biology, agriculture, food security, and forensic biology. He has won grant from Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria on yellowing diseases of coconut palm in Nigeria, as well as a James palm conservation of a culturable shell and fin fishes in the Nigeria coastal waters. He is an award winner of a UNILAG Central Research Committee grant for both mini and major grants on good indigenous chickens and forensic biology. He had equally won a grant on a bioinformatics in Lagos State Research and Innovation Council on COVID and National Research Fund, TED Fund, and the Cancer Research. His work with other scholars has attracted research grants from different agencies within and outside Nigeria. He is a fellow of Institute of Security, Nigeria, and a member of many professional academic societies and associations locally and internationally. He has served on several committees at the Departmental Faculty Ethics. Between 2019 and 2021, Sorbonne School of Postgraduate Studies between 2015 and 2017. He has served as an external examiner at the various universities at various times. He has also served as an internal examiner, postgraduate school representative in over 25 PhD to the federal. Nationally, he was the Minister of Education between 2000 and 2001. He was an assessor in the Competitive Agricultural Research Grant Scheme Proposal in West Africa Agricultural Production Program in between 2014 and 2015. He was the Chairman School Management Board of the Federal Science and Technical College, Ijebu-Mushi, and a member of the Governing Board of the Crescent Group of Schools, 1004 Quarters, Victoria Island. He consults for examination bodies such as WAEC, NECO, and JUPEP. He also consults in area of education for the Ijebu-Mushi Development Forum. He has contributed as a consultant to the Lagos State Government on workshop for science teachers at the national level for the National Junior Engineers, Technicians, Scientists, and competitions. Professor Khalid Adekoya is the National President of the UNILAG Muslim Alumni Association. He is also the National Vice President of the Association of Muslim Professionals, Nigeria, and Staff Advisor of the Muslim Students of Nigeria, UNILAG branch. He was a pioneer president of the National Association of Ogun State Students UNILAG chapter. Professor Olajide Adekoya, current research centers on multiplex PCR potential of short tandem repeat with the goal of generating DNA data for the Nigerian Society for Use in Security, curbing crimes, and a good reference material for efficient criminal justice prosecution. Very resourceful and diligent, Professor Adekoya married to Alaja Belikis Adekoya, and the union is blessed with her children. He is here to speak to us on the theme of this session, Rethinking the Tertiary Education Standard in Nigeria. Mr. Chairman of Education, sir, the Amir of the Companion, and then the elders, and then the leaders of the Companion, I here present to you this scholar, erudite academician, Professor Khalid Adekoya, to lead the conversation. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much for that over-generous introduction. Thank you, sir. I was really flabbergasted and overwhelmed. And I'm happy to be here. I want to thank the chairman, the district Amir, firstly for laying a very solid foundation of the protocol, which I will not need to go over again. And I will also thank him, secondly, for helping me to do my lecture. Because if you go back to his speech, on page 5 and page 6 of the booklet with you, he dealt with my lecture in only 4 paragraphs. And if I just say, go back and read that, and I will just take my bow and go, I think he has done the job. But with the BOT members here, they will not allow me to go. And to also add to it, the chairman also gave about 3 pages and extended the lecture. But I thank the MC who said in his last statement now that I am not here to give a lecture. I am here to lead a conversation. So I am not here to give a lecture. I'm not qualified, especially to talk about education standard. When you listen to my profile, it was about gene and gene and gene. I don't have a BEd, I don't have an MEd, I don't have a PhD in education. There are people here who have PhD in education who can deal with this topic. But I will do it to lead a conversation so that you will not hold me responsible for not giving a lecture when I finish. I have 72 slides. I was told I will speak for 1 hour. And when I came in, I met Imam Awolowo. And I know that, and I also saw the chairman come in. I know where the coup to put me on this platform came from. Because the day I gave my inaugural lecture on May 10th, 2023, they were there, they saw the academic deliverance. But that is different from coming to speak in a district conference of companion, in a public lecture. But I have laid the foundation. So if I don't give a lecture, please don't hold me responsible. I will start this way. The topic is Rethinking Tertiary Education Standard in Nigeria. I'm sorry, I did not greet my sisters very well. Our mothers and sisters. My wife is here. If I don't do it well, I might not eat this lunch. I've taken breakfast, but I will not eat lunch. And I am still a 1-star general. So if I am a 2-star or 3-star or 4-star general, I can do a call here, but I cannot. So my mothers and my wives, please, I greet you and I welcome you to this lecture. Rethinking tertiary education. The first question one was to ask, why do we need to rethink our education standard? Is it because we believe our standard is not good enough? Or because our standard is over good and we want to reduce it? If there's a word like over good, when I saw the over good now, I saw the face of Dr. Muminala, who smiled. You know, they are communicators. They have a way of taking words. Pardon me, I'm a biologist. If I ask every one of us here, is our education standard falling, or it has fallen, or it's about to fall? We will all say our education standard has fallen. Because those of us who are in companies, graduates that come, they don't measure up to what we are able to give when we are at that level. During this lecture, we will see how that has come to be, what has led to it, and where we are, and what we should do to stem the tide. The Nigerian philosophy of education is very clear. There are 5 bullet points on it. It says, our education must be able to create a free society. It must be able to give us a just and egalitarian society. I think my sisters will have to stretch their neck the way they are sitting. They won't be able to see what we are doing. I don't know whether the organizers can organize their chairs in front here. It should also be able to give us a united, strong, and self-reliant nation. A great, no, I think it is their chair that you should move. It is their chair that you should move. You have disrupted the... Is it okay now? All right, thank God. Great and dynamic economy, land full of bright opportunities for all citizens. These are the 5 philosophy of education that was betrothed to us, which is to be used to measure our education standards as we go on. Let me take you back in history. I will start with the formal education in Nigeria, because we cannot be talking about tertiary education without looking at the foundation. What has happened in primary, what has happened in the secondary. That is when we'll be able to situate what will happen at the tertiary institution. Our education, the formal one now, can be traced to 1843, when the first primary school was established. In 1854, the first secondary school, which we call the CMS Grammar School in Lagos, was established. In 1948, there was the establishment of University College Ibadan in 1948. Although many people call it the first university in Nigeria, but in 1948, it was not a university. So any of you that goes to UI and they are calling you Premier University, it is not true. Because in 1948, it was a college, a university college, Ibadan. In 1977, that was the publication of the first national policy on education. In 1983, we now have what we use as the 6334 system. In 2008, it was collapsed. TG is here. She can bear me witness that we now have the 934 under the UBE. But Nigerian educational system, as is shown on this platform, is the lower basic, middle basic, junior secondary, senior secondary, and tertiary, in that order, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, which you can call 6, 3, 3, 4. Or if you want to join into the junior secondary school, 9, 3, 4. In between, there are variations when we were using the A levels, when we have the 5, when we have the 6, 5, 4, or 6, 5, 2, 3. All those ones were just variations. Now, the Nigeria's primary school enrollment by states is what is shown here. Those ones that are dark, as you can see, the brown ones, the dark brown ones, they have less than 10% of their children being enrolled in primary school. And if you agree with me, those in that brown area are those that are closer to us as Muslims. And that is very instructive, that we have less than 10. Some of them, those even in Plateau, they are 10 to 20. It is the green ones that we have 70 to 80, as we have in Osun. And in Lagos, we have 50 to 60. Then the primary enrollment is also shown here. I asterisked 1, 2, 3, 4, because those 4 states in the north, well, Abuja is not a state, as politics has told us now. The Abuja and the other 3 that are here, it is telling us that they are lower than the national average for female enrollment. And one other thing I want you to note here is that Nigeria is recording about 10.6 million children out of school. And the bulk of those that are out of school are those in the Muslim north. The out of school children in Nigeria, if you want to look at it in other countries, Nigeria is 10.5 here. I want you to look at the other states. Look at Mali. Look at Ethiopia. And if you want to go by states in Nigeria, if you start from my right, the first 7 you will go down that are highest are in the north. So the bulk of out-of-school children by state in Nigeria are also in the Muslim north. And that is what is actually the basis of what we have as a problem at the tertiary education in Nigeria. The state of primary education, I put this together from many sources, and I asterisked 5 of them. Look at the 80% primary school children. I can't see it very well from here. They cannot read or write, 80%. 237,000 shortage of primary school teachers we have in Nigeria. 10.5 million are out of school. Only 7% of the national budget is given to education on an average basis. This is for the junior. I've left primary now. I'm now in junior secondary school. You will see that this map is not really different from the primary education. The enrollment for primary and junior secondary is almost the same. There is no variation. And these are the people from age 12 to 14. It is still alarming. This is the enrollment school in 2019, where we have a total of 10 million only being able to move to the next level. Now, this is where I'm going. Some of the things I want us to look at. Elementary primary school, we have more of them government-based. Private is still following us. But at the secondary level, the private has overtaken the primary school from the government. And that is also very instructive. A private man is in business. He is not in education per se. There is no private school that will be as, how do I put it now? That will be as benevolent towards education like government, because a businessman wants to make money. The education will be secondary, but the making money will be primary, and that is also a problem. Secondary, this is the completion data, how they complete. Now, in secondary school across the political zones, only in the southeast that we have about 80% of them completing. Let's look at southwest. We are just below 70% of our children being able to complete secondary school. Now, this, I call it worrisome statistics, according to EduCeleb. This is very worrisome. Worrisome in the sense that 51% of children engage in child labor up till now in Nigeria. 8% of our budget for only 49% proceed. 13.2 million are now out of school. This is, I put this one 2-star. 2 in 3 children don't have access to early childhood education in Nigeria. I can go on with statistics, but I don't want to bore us. Let me just put this forth. Over 10 million children are out of school. 27 million children perform poorly at schools. I want you to note that millions of Nigerians are half educated. That is why in companies, in industries, we say our children, our graduates are not doing well. When they employ them, they will still need to train them, and you train and retrain. About 80 million of Nigerians are illiterate. So who are we to blame? There is an adage, they say, school na scam. Now I am at the tertiary enrollment. This is Nigeria. Only 10% of people who are qualified have spaces in Nigeria. That is, if 100 students wrote JAM, they score well, they are good, we can only accommodate 10. I have a practical experience that we are still battling with in Unilag of today. There is a condition, there is a program we call JUPEL, University Primary Education Board, which was like A-level. Now, anybody who wants to read medicine, we do physics, chemistry, biology. Now, in Unilag, 53 of them got A in physics, A in chemistry, A in biology. In the A-level balance, that is 16 points. We have only space for 18 students. And they did JUPEL in Unilag, they have 16 points. Can we say a child with 16 points is not brilliant? But there is no space. So how did Unilag solve this problem? They have to go back to their school stats and then see how many got A1 in all of them in physics, chemistry, biology, maths, English, to be able to eliminate. That is the kind of issue we have in our tertiary education. Now China will take 60%. The average of the world is 55. This is the global tertiary school enrollment ratio. I'm still bringing us data. I've not started my lecture. I'm just summing up the data to whet our appetite before we now go into the discussion. Now, the tertiary enrollment ratio, look at the world, sorry. Look at the world. the world is going to about 30%. Sub-Saharan Africa is below 10% for our tertiary enrollment. Admitted versus not admitted in tertiary institutions. 70% are not admitted, 30% are admitted. I've just given a scenario of what we have today. Now, I'm starting my lecture at the slide number 18. Tertiary education is referred to as the third level, post-secondary education. The world defines it as including universities, trade schools, and colleges. But in Nigeria, our tertiary education is in 3: universities, polytechnics, of course, monotechnics, and colleges of education. Trade centers, colleges, like College of Fisheries and so on, by strict definition of tertiary education in Nigeria, they do not belong. So my topic will only be restricted to these 3: universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. And these are the enrollment in those 3. The bright one that I'm pointing out is the private. The total number of private we have. You can see that across these 3, we have private dominating our education, even more than government. Federal government is the blue. State is the, I don't know what to call this one. You know, I went to college. I didn't go to secondary school. I didn't go to nursery school, so I don't know color. But the private is higher, and that is where we have issues. I've given the reason earlier. So what are the objectives of our tertiary education in Nigeria? What do we intend them to achieve? I want to remind you of our philosophy of education, which trickles down to what we call the objectives of our tertiary education. Our tertiary education is expected to contribute to our national development through high-level manpower training, where we train our doctors, our engineers, our mass communicators, our teachers, all of them. It's supposed to contribute to our national development. It's supposed to develop proper values for survival in our education, in our individual and society. Now, I want us to be asking ourselves questions. Has our tertiary education contributed to our national development? I want a yes or no. Yes or no? Yes. Has it contributed and given us or inculcated proper values in our products? The yes and no will not come, because we all know what happens in our universities by the time they are released. Development of intellectual capabilities of individuals to understand and appreciate their local and external environment. Is it yes? Well, I have more no's than yes. So from these 3 bullets alone, I have only one clear yes, and I have shrouded no in. Let me continue. Okay, I think I have. Okay, those are the 3 objectives. Now, I want to now give us the history of generation of universities in Nigeria. It was in 1943, there was an Elliott Commission that established the University College in Ibadan as an affiliate of University of London. I put the logo of UI there so that they are the ones that is now becoming UI. But in 1948, they are University College. Don't say because I'm from Unilag, I'm stating the fact as it is. In 1959, there was an Ashby Commission of Inquiry. And what led to it was that we now have too many of our children then, they are my grandfathers now, who wanted to go to university. There is no space. So there was an Ashby Commission of Inquiry to look into how to establish universities. The report was submitted in 1960, but it started implementation in 1962. Before the implementation started, the Eastern region established their own university in 1960. Before the federal government started the implementation, they started their own in 1960 to establish the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. In 1962, the Western region established the University of Ife, which is now the Obafemi Awolowo University. The northern region established the Ahmadu Bello University. Then the federal government established University of Lagos. So University of Lagos is not a regional university. It was established by the federal government in 1962. Great. It was then that the University College in Ibadan was now upgraded to become a full-fledged university in 1962. So, by implication, the first two federal universities in Nigeria should be UNILAG and University of Ibadan. In 1970, University of Benin. This is the first generation, or these are the first generation universities in Nigeria. So if you belong to any of these 6 universities, let me see your hand. So if your hand is not up, maybe you will belong to the second generation. Let's see them. These are the second generation universities. That is in 1975 to 1980. There was a third national development plan that there was so much pressure on these 4 universities. We need more. So there was an inquiry to go and develop 4. But the Nigerian factor came in and they developed 7. That was when we started the political establishment of universities and not the need. And the 7 universities are as shown: Unical, Ilorin, Unijos, Maiduguri, Sokoto, Bayero, and Uniport. So in 1975, the 4 regional universities were now taken over by the federal government. So if you belong to the second now, let's see your hand. There are still some people who are in the 3rd generation, and this is where we have chaos coming in. Between 1980 and 1990, I call this day the era of political establishment of university. That is the era of political establishment. There were 5 federal universities of technology in Owerri, Makurdi, Yola, Akure, and Bauchi. There were federal universities of agriculture, Abeokuta and the one in Makurdi. Then there was state university also established in Imo, Ondo, Lagos, Akwa Ibom, Oyo, and Cross River. You can see many of these universities were established because I am a minister. Establishment of university has started. There must be one in my state. There must be one in my village. Without taking into consideration, are there manpower? Do we have the manpower to teach? Do we have the resources, financial resources, to be able to cater for a university? So if you don't have that, how will you be able to have a university that will use the manpower necessary for national development? Then we have the 4th generation. We now have a rat race. The other one was a lower one, now a rat race. 1991 to date, more states were now establishing, more federal universities. There was a time a government, a president just established 6 federal universities without structure. There was no structure in that place, it's just land, and it was a university. A vice chancellor was now sent there. Oh yeah, go and start working. Only vice chancellor, registrar, and bossa were appointed. Go and start working. No students, nothing. And we all know where that one will be. So there was rat race. But as of today, we have 170 universities. I'm going to restrict my talk to universities for obvious reasons, because if I want to talk about polytechnics and private education, they will be doing Maghreb here. And I'm sure Oyefeso has a political meeting. He needs to go. So we have 170 universities in Nigeria of today, as at this morning. 79 are private, 43 federal, 48 state. The federal that have the muscle, that have the wherewithal to employ, to produce infrastructure, they are the one that is having only 43. Whereas states, majority of them are not universities. I'm sorry to say. Talk less of private. Some private university, there was one in Lagos here that called me to come and help them teach. It's around, the university is around Yaba. They are using a 2-bedroom flat. And it's a university. And they have approval. The VC happened to be my colleague when I was in school. When we were in school, we were very close. And I said, Khalid, come and help me. I have program in biology. And I said, okay, it's my friend, let me go there. I got there, I saw only one student to come and read biology, and a girl for that matter. I told him I won't teach. Because there's no, he won't be able to pay. There's no way. How can you have a university and you have a class, a program, only one student in one level? So apparently he said, okay, send me your any student of yours. So I sent one student who is working with his PhD. What will that one offer? The student will graduate and might even graduate with a first class. And then will now come and compete with those who are in the first generation university. So this is just a graph to show how it flows. You can see the steepness of the graph as it's going from 2010. Look at the way it is going, and it is continuing to grow because we are in the political era, and anybody who is in the House of Reps and does not bring a university to his own state has not performed. If you are a senator and you cannot bring a university, as if the university is just kindergarten, you have not performed. So be ready to receive as many more universities, whether they are universities or another word for it. So what is a university? A university is an all-encompassing by its nature. It's about the universe. It must encourage globalization. It is the melting point for ideas and knowledge. It creates avenue for acquiring, creating, and disseminating knowledge. It is the cornerstone of internationalization. This is an embodiment of what university is. That is University of Lagos in the aerial view. I'm leaving this slide with companions so you can share with your members. Expectations from a university. A university is expected to be dynamic, must be ongoing, must be progressive, must be transformative process of enlightenment, must address global challenges, articulate the local specificity of complex problems, and transcend dictionary language and national borders. How many of our universities can stand and talk about global challenges? The issue is very clear. The computer people will say, garbage in, garbage out. You cannot give what you don't have. When establishing the university, there has been some political insinuations. Establishing universities, there has been corruption. Then there is no way that university will be able to give all these expectations from a university. So a university is supposed to be able to do research, partnership, administer, attain curricular development. How universities can contribute to national development. We need universities to help us for rapid industrialization of the economy, provide manpower with adequate professional, technical, and managerial skills, transform the system into a knowledge society, instill good attributes, and engender attitudinal changes. I will give a very good example, especially to this industrialization of the economy. I will use myself as an example. In 1983, that I was given admission into Unilag. When I went to register for what we call introductory biology, FSC 101 then, my lecturer said I should go to the lab. Then my lecturer is gone now, of blessed memory. Go to the lab, go and meet one Mr. Ola. I went to the lab, I met Mr. Ola. He said, okay, you have been registered, where is your form? I showed him. He took me to the lab 301 upstairs, opened a cupboard for me. In the cupboard, there is a compound microscope. As a biologist, there are slides, there are chemicals for me only. He gave me the copy of the key and said, that is your closet. Keep your things there. You can come here anytime to use the microscope to review what you are taught. And I thank him, I left. I was using it and I was able to do well. Now fast forward, 2005, I became a lecturer in that department. I happened to be teaching that same course. Now I have 2,000 students. And the microscope that I'm supposed to use to teach these 2,000 students are just 150. So how can I give one student one microscope? It's not possible. So what I was able to learn, what I was able to initiate with myself, check, review, they cannot do it. They cannot be, I'm sorry to say, they cannot be as sharp as we are. They cannot be as intelligent because they are not exposed to what we were exposed to. And I don't have a choice. If you say they cannot graduate, another set of 2,000 are coming in next year. So we have to graduate. We have to push them. They will go. In that year one, I will do 12, 13 practicals for that course. There are 2,000. The lab that I used is the lab they are to use. So we cannot do all the labs. Out of the 13, we pick 5 or 4. When you do lab this week, you will not do in the next 2 weeks. You come again the 3rd week. And we use 3 hours. They will use 1 hour per lab because we have to do in group and we have to do alternately. So they cannot learn until they get to the company or industry where they will be exposed to the machine and they will continue to learn at the companies. So that is one of the main problems that we face. And I'm sure one of the other problems is that the TG is there. She will bear me witness. The problems they are also facing from secondary school came from the dregs. The dregs that were pushed from primary school. Just pass all of them, let them go to secondary school. When they get to secondary school, just pass them, let them go to university. Then they will now come and want to kill those of us in the universities. But we don't have a choice, we will survive. We will now say, push them to chairman, to employ them in Courtsville and train them so that they can be useful to them. Creation, absorption, dissemination, and application of knowledge. That's that. I'm still talking about what we expect universities to contribute. Formation of strong nation states, promote knowledge, provide solutions to national problems. We have problems of fraud, of flood. Water is everywhere. We have engineers. They have prototypes. They have done a lot of research. There is no year I don't have 20 final year students doing projects. When they do the project, some of them will use their parents' money and my own grant to do the project. I cannot use my grant again to do the prototype for use by the population. That is where the government will come in. But when you pack and package and send to them, then the political thing comes in. Is that person from APC or PDP? No, he's not a political person. We don't know him. We cannot work on it. There are a lot of lecturers here. I've seen Odunuga there. I've seen Aziz. I've seen them. This is Ayola. He's in engineering. A lot of prototypes. So most of these projects are on the table. Whereas in advanced countries, it is the company that will come to the university. We have a problem. We are doing toothpaste. We want to do a toothpaste that will be very Nigerian, that will clean the teeth of Nigerian better than the teeth of Oyibo. We have this. What can you do? Then there, the engineer will come, the botanist whose plants they will use will come, the company will do the work, they will pay the money, the university will do the work, and then it will go. That is why universities are now doing consultancy, because we have left the real way to go in solving some of these our national problems, which is embedded in our reasoning politically. We are supposed to assist the society. An efficient university education system is the best asset a nation can have. I repeat it. If there is an efficient education system in Nigeria, we will not have the problem we have now. Because the best efficient university system is the best asset we can have. Professor Blake said, university is the biggest industry that touches on every fabric of human endeavor. It is an important form of investment in human capital, which in turn is very significant in economic growth of the nation. How universities can contribute. Goal of university education is to produce the critical mass. I've said that. Universities, in addition to teaching, serve as the hub for research and community service. The universities are supposed to serve as the hub. You have a university in Lagos. You have a Lagos State University. You have Lagos University of Education. All of them within Lagos. I doubt whether there is a forum where the vice chancellors of universities in Lagos are meeting with the government people in Lagos to solve problem of Lagos. Because they will look at it as, how can I come down to be sitting with that university I mentioned in Yaba that is only having maximum of one student in a class, and the University of Lagos Vice Chancellor carrying 65,000 students at his back. You know, those kind of things will also come in, which is expected to go behind if you want to solve a particular problem. University is the engine of development. People get to know their rights, entire developmental apparatus of the university. The development of human person will immediately trickles to the development of the other sectors of the economy. University education is most suited towards providing the socio-economic development that Nigeria yearns for. And I'm going to infer the dysfunctional university system will surely make a malfunctional country. It is because our university system is dysfunctional, as I'm talking to you, that is why we have in Nigeria that we are, and we are, and we are now. What are the basic requirements to have a university that we will be proud of? We need teaching and non-teaching staff. Number, quality, and ratio. When we say number, in most advanced countries, the ratio is 25 to 1, 30 to 1. That 2,000 students I'm talking about, they are expected to be taught by 18 lecturers. That is the ratio of 100 and something. There is no way I will go to 3 classes of 2,000 students in a day, and I will still get home and eat well and sleep well. And if God wants to even deal with you, you are a 4-star general, you will be able to do your work at home again. That is where we are. The second one is 20 minutes. Admitting only qualified students. Now, we want to admit qualified students. There had been corruption from when they were writing WAEC. I had an experience when I was a course advisor in year 1. A boy came in. The boy came in with, I think, about 5 A's and 3 C's. And he got 290. Then there was no post-UTME. But in the first semester exam, he had 5 F's. I had to call him. Come. Are you sure you had? How can you get F in 5 courses and you have all these? He said, sir, I did not do the exam. He didn't do any of the exam. They call it non-appearance. So we had a lot of them in the university. Facilities, I don't need to talk about that one. It's too much. State-of-art equipment. Library, wow. The library must be stocked. When we were students, the University of Lagos Library is 24 hours opened. 24 hours. You have books. You have journals. But now there are no books. There are no journals. Even when lecturer give assignment, the student will just go to AI. The AI will do the assignment. Artificial intelligence, they just put the topic there. It will give them all the points and they will submit. So there is zero effort. So when the brain is not given an effort, it cannot develop. It cannot solve personal problems, talk less of national problems. Recreation facilities, enhancing quality standards, giving credibility to the awards, engendering of confidence. That's the purpose of quality assurance now. Ensuring accountability. I'm still having some slides that I have with, let me just move to the input components of a educational system, what we expect them to do. To be able to give us equity, efficiency, effectiveness, relevance, and quality. We expect to have this input. Qualified students, qualified teachers, non-teaching staff, managers, facilities, finance, then the process, good teaching, research done, then we output will now give us skilled labor. Economic and social development will follow, but we don't follow this simple process. Has Nigeria fared well in tertiary education? The emphatic answer is no. Now let us look at, these are the things I put before, how universities can contribute. That means we have not used our universities in this way. All these things I put before. But let us look at the benefits derived so far. You can't just say no. Have we done anything at all? Has our educational system, our teacher educational system done anything at all? Has it been able to enhance moderate social interactions? Yes. Cultural development? Yes or no? Has our education system given us social interaction? Companion is part of social interaction. Companion is association of Muslim men in business and the professions. If you didn't go to university, you won't form companion. So there has been social interaction. The same thing, we don't have Muslim alumni. The same thing, we won't have criterion. So we have some engendering of social interaction. Cultural development, economic development, political awareness. Yes, our education has afforded us to get that. Scientific discoveries. Yes, we have some discoveries in Nigerian names, but we can do better than that. Technological processes. Yes. We have specialists in various fields. We have turned out scholars who have contributed to world reservoir of knowledge. We have been able to form the critical component in human development. We provided high-level skills necessary, led to the development of sound and effective citizens. I don't know whether you are an effective citizen in Nigeria, but I know I am. And I'm a product of the educational system in Nigeria, even if it is flawed. So these are the 6 main factors that are connected, that have affected our educational system. We have geographical problem, economic problem, social and cultural problem, historical problem, political problem, and language problem. All these problems are connected. If I ask you, which of these factors is the most influential in Nigeria's context? Which of them? Is the political? Okay, I agree with you. Let's go on and see whether it is the one. Now, I have about 13 or 14 bullets here that I count as the systemic destruction of Nigeria university system. What has led to it? I started with the Udoji Award problems. Yes, Udoji award problems, because many people abandoned the farm and came to Lagos to share the Udoji. Creation of new states in 70s and 80s. And when they created the new states, they were demanding for their own universities. When there are no viable strategies to absorb graduates. Creation of JAM introduced federal character. It's in our law. Catchment area, educational disadvantaged states. So it is not only about merit to enter university. That is why many of my members of Companion, of UMA, of ALP, they fight me. I gave you my child for admission. Oh, then they help them. And it is beyond me. Because there is what is called catchment area. UNILAG has Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Ondo, Ekiti as our catchment area. So if the cutoff point is maybe 78% merit, then because Lagos is our catchment area, we have to go and look for one person who is a Lagos indigene that did not get 78. Probably might be got 76 and taken. Meanwhile, there is somebody from Akwa Ibom that got 77. We won't take him. But we'll take somebody from Lagos that got 76 because it's in our catchment area. Then we now have educationally disadvantaged states. Somebody from Zamfara who scored 50, and is the only one from Zamfara that got 50 for that medicine. We will take him home because of the federal character. Politically motivated appointments. Of course, there is politics in appointment at that high level. Whether you like it or not, there are some level of politics. Research grants problem, non-standardization of curricula, and then JAPA syndrome. JAPA syndrome is another problem. I try to put all those challenges together. I got tired. You can see brain drain, strike action, weak policy implementation, weak educational financing structure, inadequate material structure, inadequate funding, shortage of academic staff, lack of political will. There are so many. And there's no way I can talk about all these ones one by one. So I will talk about only one or two to see how exactly it has affected our educational system. This is the JAPA syndrome. I like to say, like, you will recognize this slide. I used this slide for you before. Now, this is the brain. This is Nigeria. He has carried his bag. He's going to the world. This is the brain of Africa, flying out of Africa, and is going to the world. This is somebody in Europe taking a magnet and drawing all the shining brains. That is the situation of the JAPA syndrome that we have faced in Nigeria of today. In my department, more than 8 lecturers left in the last 2 months. 8 out of the 13 that we have. And the new rule now, we cannot employ. Federal government must employ for us. And they have to go through 7 MDAs before you get employed. Any lecturer you see standing is on his way to JAPA. Although me, I cannot JAPA. Alaja, don't worry, I won't JAPA. She's here. Now, this is the Human Flight and Brain Index of 2022. Now, let me just explain this. This is for 179 countries. We call it Fragile State Index position. The higher the number, your position, the more stable your country is. Look at Norway. They are 178 position. The education is best in Finland, 179. Nobody is leaving the academic environment. In Nigeria, we are on the 16th position because we lose academic staff and even non-academic staff on daily basis in our universities. BBC did a report in 2022 making some research, asking youths between the age of 18 to 24, asking them whether you want to stay in Nigeria or Japan. Look at the graph. In Nigeria, only 5% of those consulted said they want to stay. 95% wants to Japan. And our own is the highest. Our own is higher than Ghana, higher than Uganda, higher than South Africa. And why are they going? Because there is no hope as they look at it. The scenario in our universities of today, I brought some facts. Unilag VC said, just this month, 5 lecturers resigned in a month in Unilag last month. The VC of UI, 9 lecturers out of 13 resigned in a department in UI. The UI VC said it last month. More than 70% of young academics retained through mentorship have left for greener pastures. Let me just explain this. Professor Bello, when he was the VC of Unilag, he noticed that we are churning out first classes. They are good. He now brought a policy, took it to Senate, Council approved it, that the best 5 students in every department, best 5, first class, in every department should be given job in the university. The university will sponsor their PhD, their master's and PhD. They will be given job, they will be paid salary to stay, so that by the time they finish in 6 years, we will have more lecturers coming up. My department, as usual, took their own 5. Out of the 5, none of them is left. They've gone. And that is the situation in most departments that took that opportunity. Because somebody that had a first class, just go to scholarship.com and apply. You will get approval. They all left. None of them is staying. So why are they moving out? They desire for better working conditions, career upliftment, insecurity, poor salaries, inadequate funding of research, non-payment of outstanding salaries. Federal government said they are going to pay outstanding salary, but we should come and sign that if we sign, we will not go on strike again, even when we are suffering. Nobody will sign, nobody will collect that money. Nobody will sign. Because you cannot tie my hand and say, I cannot scratch my face again. So, solution is to convert Japa to Jakpada. And how do we do it? To enhance our quality of education, our research institutions. This can be achieved by improving curriculum standards, providing adequate funding for research. Another one I want to talk about is the budget. Just look at the budget. Nigerian budget 2022 is giving only 5.4% for education. Look at other countries. Ghana is giving 31%. UN said 26%. Some countries are giving 31%. Nigeria is giving 8% on education. So we need to rethink our tertiary education. I've been given 5 minutes. Taking an innovative approach, change of models for tertiary education. Nigeria needs a more comprehensive, coherent, and interconnected tertiary education sector. We respond to challenges. Let me leave this SDG goals. Let me leave. So the way forward, I divided it to about 4. Role of the government. Government to create enabling academic environment. Reverse Japa to Japada. Government should prioritize infrastructural development. Yes, government is trying with tech fund, but tech fund came as a result of strike of ASU. It was ASU that said they must do 2% and give us tech fund. Most universities that you go today, it is only tech fund you see that is structured. But they have removed ASU from the tech fund board now because we are no more on the board. So anything can happen to the money of tech fund, and it is a large amount of money. So federal government should increase the funding of higher institutions. Role of government to appoint only qualified individuals to head institutions, not to use political means to provide adequate security. We all know of what's happening in the universities today. To implement agreement reached with the various union groups, deploy all materials for then corporate organizations. They should create opportunities for students. They should increase our blended learning method. Thank God for COVID. COVID exposed that we can actually go technology, and we are able to do that. There should be mentorship, social innovation hub. Town and gang relationship must be strengthened. I gave that insight earlier. Tertiary institutions must establish endowment funds. We must review our curriculum regularly. The 10 years to review curriculum is not enough. It should be made 5 years. Recruit experienced faculties and professionals. Role of parents. Compulsory internship schemes, technological infrastructure, amendment of tech fund program. Students must be ready to turn a new leaf. Parents must monitor progress of their words. Some quotations. You can read this quotation later. It's about education. But the one that attracts me there is the one about Islam. Seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave, acquire knowledge and impart it to the people. Knowledge is the lost property of the believer. So wherever he finds it, he should take it. The ink of the scholar is more sacred than the blood of the martyr. I have brought this slide again. I said it on my inaugural lecture, and I'm saying it again here. This is the second place I'm using this slide. It's about teachers. All teachers. Because I'm from a family of teachers. All teachers who render services that cannot be paid for, monetarily or materially to humanity. Particularly Nigerian academics, who are the willing, led by the unknowing, and are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. He has done so much with so little and for so long that is now qualified to do anything with nothing. Conclusion. Knowledge accumulation and application have become major factors in economic development and are increasingly at the core of a country's competitive advantage in the global economy. However, the state of education in Nigeria has been discouraging and frustrating to all, not only to the lecturers, to parents, to students, to employers, to government. No Nigerian can exonerate himself from the culpability of the deplorable state of our nation. We need not feel sorry. We should renew our interest and resolve to revive the quality of the educational system for the next generation. Some questions of interest. Does the government have the capacity to change the tide for better? Yes. Do we have the required lecturers and managers to run an excellent university system? Yes. Do we have the correct potential to drive the development? Yes. Do we have students that can respond to make us proud? Yes. Are our parents capable of doing their part as expected? Yes. Posterity will judge us by whatever we do today, whether we paid our dues or we shall change our children. My final shot, and that came from the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Ojo, when he came to UNILAG about 3 weeks ago. He said, I have unwavering faith in the transformative power of educational research. I believe that together we can break the borders that hinder collaboration and unlock a brighter future for Nigeria and by extension Africa. Let our academic community be at the forefront of this noble endeavor, inspiring the next generation to build a Nigeria that thrives in unity, innovation, and shared propriety. Thank you very much for listening.
Takbir. Takbir. Amen.
Thank you, sir. I think, okay, let me thank all of you for appreciating what Professor Khalid, Adekoya, and Prof. At the beginning, I said, I witnessed his inaugural lecture, and he also did another one in my office. And this is the third time I'm listening to him. He has not disappointed. He has done so well. And it's been very, very interactive. The slide speaks to us. As much as it's speaking to us, you can easily follow with the slides. And that was fantastic. Thank you very much, Prof. We appreciate you. We look forward to you getting more recognition, inshallah. He has done justice to that topic. And let me confess here, Imam Lodging is there. I don't know if he was part of it. They always say, I was not part of those that elected you to speak today. Imam said, neither was he. Then we have an Amir who knows quality when he sees more. You are one of us. We have interacted with you repeatedly, severally, at many fora, and we know the quality you have made of. We thank Almighty Allah for your life. We thank Almighty Allah for your intellectual ability, and we thank Allah for what you have also done to us today. Like one person here who probably, no matter where you came in, whatever number of slides you read, I am very sure you must have been so fascinated and impressed with the delivery and the topic in itself. They are broken it down in a layman language. So if a professor speaks, you will expect so many basic grammar. They understand and know that not all of us are professors. So he spoke to us in a language that was easier for us to understand. Very lucid and straight to the point. Thank you once again. I am not confident to summarize. In fact, I don't look for summary. They have said it. Let's look all of specific people who are going to make good win messages. The assignment for today has been done. The reason why we are here, the Lagos District Conference Public Lecture has just been delivered. And in our tradition, we will appreciate Dr. Khalid Adekoya. However, because this is 12:35, we tend to round up by one. We are going to call on specific people to make good messages. Make your good messages straight to the point. On behalf of all of us, we have thanked Dr. Khalid. I'm sure he's not going to object if anybody writes to say and are not thanking him. On behalf of everyone here, we appreciate you and I'm thanking you on their behalf. Thank you for your job. Thank you. You can see it's appreciated, it's thanked, and I've taken that on behalf of the country. So, if you are opportune to speak, I can see people even doing academic to him. Thank you. The following people are shortlisted. When you are in the garden and you have so many bigger dogs, it's always the challenge calling on everyone to speak. So if you are not cross, no malice. You have to drop from them to be able to accommodate some others. So we have the following people that we have shortlisted to speak. One is the Chairman POC of Companion, Alhaji Waziri Onibo. We have another POC member and elder of the Companion, Alhaji JTA Ali Oluwafi. And of course, we will not have the National Assembly of the Companion attending a district program and not having speak to us. I'm sure he has a message or two from the national body to tell us. National Assembly, I'm sure you are impressed by what's going on in Lagos. Thank you. I have been regarding former rector of the Lagos State Polytechnic, Dr. Lawal. If you stay here, you want to speak. Then, among our sisters, the criteria, we have the district Amira, Alaja Maria, Mose Saba. And of course, we have the Education District Permanent Secretary, who is also a teacher by profession, Dr. Sharifa Yusuf, and the last person that will speak to us. I'm going to give every one of us 2 minutes. Good minutes. To make it as brief as possible, I don't want to struggle collecting the mic from you. And because of people ahead that you won't be able to do the struggle, you just be giving them time. I hope they will keep to it. So the first person that's going to speak, DOT Chairman Companion, you speak to us for 2 minutes.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our protocol number one needs Lagos District to be conference. And I think that God will continue to do the way of the court. Number two, I want to thank you also for organizing this. There is no doubt education is the bedrock of development of everyone. And today we have seen so many things going on. People would think when I was in service, I was thinking that populated education is going down. The reason is not far-fetched because I participated in so many interviews. The original interview in school. Within my establishment, I knew what we are against. Unfortunately, all what we are against, that corruption or this straight line of operation led by people is affecting all our structures of economy. And there is no doubt about that. The government is doing certain things for the government. And it's not only government, it's both me and you that are affected in the long run. Therefore, this lecture, I think, is an eye-opener to every of us concerning what is going on in the international sector of this country. And I pray that God will give our leaders the opportunity to open their eyes. And even certain things, for the present president, I think I've worked with you for some time, and I knew his antecedent concerning bringing in people that are capable to come back to Nigeria for further development. Then can we play those people? And the question we have, can we play them? My brother here was giving me his long story concerning his own child today. After completing his educational program in Nigeria, people after they saw his performance, they took him up, pay his PhD, and pay for all his other educational development. And he brought us around. there was change in Nigeria. That's the only reason I cannot tell you that universities are not doing anything. I will say that most of our in 2 minutes, let me share my thoughts. For 10, 15, 20 years ago, like you said, I started working on education. And at one point, I got fed up and frustrated, and I left that job. Because there was no way. And if I can remind some of you who are going to visit the Central Bank annual report and account, which I was one of the subscribers. I love this because of one page there, called the statistics. I used to take it because of that page, where education and health were given a place of progress. So if I can still remember some of the figures that time, the secondary population, primary school population, at least up to the last count of that report, 2013, was almost about 18 to 19 million children in primary school. And of that, only 6 million that year was able to progress, 6 million out of 18 million was able to progress to secondary school level nationally. From there, less than 2 million of the 6 million moved to tertiary education. And if you see that, you see that it really corresponds with what Professor Khalid said about many people getting out of school. From 18 million to 2 million, who are able to progress to the next level and to the next level. So that is where we have the kind of social problem we have today. However, it's one thing for you to have a problem. I'm not going to speak about the problem. I want to speak about the solution that I thought and companion you have to work on. Companion you also need to transform from organizing lectures and conferences and seminars. Beautiful. As an association of professionals. If we do not do, we have failed. So that we are doing, we have passed. But we must move to the next stage. Conferences, workshops, and seminars are supposed to be a feeder from the public to us as an association. Get their feeling, get their idea, develop a paper that you can now speak to those who are going to formulate policy. Because one of the fundamental objectives of the companion in the past, say, 25 years, is public policy advocacy. I think it's there. Right. But we have not used it sufficiently. We have had the opportunity, because of our position in society, to have met several head of states. One of us, yesterday or how many days ago, I was told we have a meeting with Balatin. But what is the outcome? So what is that for? If you do not meet the hour part of the team that met for Zimbabwe before you left, what was the outcome? Last year we had a lecture, the same board, the same high table that I attended. I said that I will attend the next one, and that I'm attending today. But what is the outcome of the summer workshop? Is that we need to have a follow-up. Don't let us do talk shop. We need to have a workshop. So for today, delivery. So, I mean, national, I mean, this a lot of get the paper, do effort, and what follow-up you can do. That's my first conclusion. Second one, your paper presentation of this is government for advocacy. The first national development plan was 1958, and it was a 10-year plan in 1958. 1958 to 1958, the regional development, as you said, they are not something that came out of just sheer dream. They were planned. Regional development were planned, and they were planned in 3 key areas: education, economy, and arts. Because they need these 3 for industrial development. And we did, and we achieved. And we left national development one time to short term, 5 years. We stopped that one by 1985. We now started doing MTS. medium-term exploitation framework that have no plan underlying it. So we are planning for how to spend money. We did not plan on what we are going to spend the money. And that's why we are having trillions of budgets every 12 months. For 20, that is 2 trillion per month on what? What's the plan? Unfortunately, again, we have to change the focus of our plan from national planning to economic planning. They are not the same. So, therefore, I knew the national I knew, district I knew, initially, about things that and that is the truth. I was telling my wife, inshallah, in 3 years' time, when I was got to I reported 70, I want to write. One of the people, so please, mission say, whatever we are able to gather as all the centers and functions, put them together and do them. What you can put them to see that they are implemented.
Let's say the education give me another one and still be standing and as a former administrator of one of the institutions in the country. I am of the opinion that some of the challenges that we face in higher institutions today, number one, is the match between the higher institutions and the industry. Because the majority of the programs that we run in institutions today, they are outdated programs. And that is why in advanced countries, you find collaboration between the Ministry of Education, the industrial sector, as well as the Ministry of Science and Technology. I once attended a conference in Ghana, and I discovered that the Ministry of Science and Technology, the Ministry of Education, and the Industrial Association, they work hand in hand. But there was a conference I attended in UK, and we were charged with the responsibility of looking into the thesis of PhD students. A guy from Germany was writing on innovation management, but we asked the guy his qualifications. He told us he had a master in both economics and engineering. Economics and engineering. So, what I'm trying to say is that we need to look into the society. What are their needs? And then the university will develop programs that fit the needs of the society. The number two, we also, from my experience, there are a lot of people, particularly the academics, they have no business in the academics. Because most you need to have qualifications. Usually first class students will be groomed to eventually become professional tutors. But a lot of people that we have in the academics today, they are those who could not find jobs and they now look for jobs in the institution. Then number three, the domineering nature of the unions. You see, in the past, when we talk of union leaders, we have people of integrity who are steering the affairs of the union. But today, from my experience, majority of people who call themselves union leaders, they have skeleton in their cupboard. And in an attempt to cover it, that is why they aspire to become union leaders. So we need to be careful of these people. These are some of the challenges that we face in higher education today. So I have a lot, but I just let me stop here. So it's better for us to take it to listen of these facts. Thank you. Thank you very much. That is practical response for someone who is on the field. And we'll move on to the speaker. The national way is very rapid of the will go back to the national way.
We are just pushing those children. We're just giving them just anything. We copy from all over the globe. We bring what they are doing there. We bring it to our home. We never sat down to actually think of what exactly are our needs. What is that curriculum that we need to build up to ensure that we bring these children to terms with what our needs are in the country, and for them to be able to compete as well with their peers all over the globe. A student being taught computer with the use of stone, I don't know how such a student will be able to compete with his mates all over the globe. Nigerian education system needs a total overhaul. And I want companion. It is everybody's job, not only the government. We should not say, our government is not doing this, our government is not doing that. Even though somebody will say, because I am running the government, I am supporting the government. But everybody has to be involved. The students whom we want to give this knowledge, are they ready? The parents, are they willing? Is the companion and criterion as faith-based non-governmental organizations, are they ready to step up the game in that aspect? Skill acquisition. What do you make of a student who spent 3 years and 9 years of basic, 3 years of secondary, making 12, 4 years of university, making 16, have a degree, and now go back to learn fashion? Since the student knew that fashion has been his or her passion from the beginning, why not let us have a university of skills acquisition? The company can consider that, or rather join hands with existing universities. If I may share my Ghana experience, when we went for the national conference in Ghana, as soon as I entered the University of Ghana, I could see all these things these children have made with their hands. When we entered the hall, I saw this very big tree. I don't know if for that service. And it was a form of decoration, not this Ashokawa Akakiri. Real tree put in the center of the hall as a form of decoration. And when I started asking questions, they told me it was the students who made it. Very fantastic. I could see them using tires as chairs, and people were sitting on it. So let us think skills now. I kept telling parents, but how willing are you as a parent? Why do you have to wait until your child has spent 16 years and going back to learn fashion for 2 years? Going back to learn hairdressing for 2 years. I have a daughter whom I just adopted. This girl, she has gone to primary, secondary, university, everything. To discover now that her passion is in fashion. And she's doing fine. Sewing these dresses and sending it out of the country to bring in dollars. So my challenge to you, let us think of having, I have never seen a school like that in Nigeria. University of Skills Acquisition. Basically on skills. They would have identified that skills from they can go through basic education, which is compulsory. And after that, go and develop their passion. We could as well collaborate with existing universities to do this. The second one, sir, before you stop me, the second one is about our curriculum, which I mentioned. We need to look at our curriculum. A lot of things we teach our children is not working. Just last week, I heard that there was a debate in the House of Reps that some of our textbooks, they are about LGBTQ, and that is in our own curriculum. And this is against the philosophy of our education. So let us make a strong representation, either to the House, to the Ministry of Education, or to the government, for them to sit down and actually look into our curriculum, not just bringing in anything from anywhere, copying anywhere, which is not relevant to our environment. I rest my case. Congratulations, company. Since Nigeria has a basic school, company needs a university.
bring the companion ahead. Well, the companion has always supported the criteria. So you can be rest assured that we will still support you. The same way you are supporting us. Okay. Now I'm going to call on the number one student and companion, the National Array of Companion. Coincidentally, is an engineer and a head. I know that Polytechnic are set up for skills acquisition. Whether they are doing it or they are derailed is another thing. But I'm not leading him to a talk. The team will speak to us for another 2 minutes. It's exactly 1 minute, 10 minutes after 1. Zoom is already in. We are supposed to round up now. So the National Array has the floor. And we go with a sincere speech. National Array. It's going to talk to the paper. It's not going to read. Okay? So it will abide. The companion is a complete gentleman. Don't worry. The companion National Array is going to speak to the 2 minutes. It starts now.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين. I thank Allah for today. We gathered here for another conference of the Lagos District Company. About 2 months ago, we were here too for the national conference. So Lagos District has been the backbone of the company. We want to thank Lagos District for putting out very beautiful show whenever we are there. I listen to the guest speaker. I want to thank you very sincerely. The exposition is very deep, and I'm sure all of us will follow all the issues that our able speaker has dipped out for us today. It's not a thing that can be discussing here. I'm sure the organizer they will be able to tell in some countries the electronic copy of this paper. I want all of us to take our time. Sit down with this paper and digest it. We will see that if we move away from the top strong that we are all doing and we make a work, something that we must all work on, it is an answer of the problem we are having in education in our nation. Let me also quickly make this point. Having apologized for coming to the next week because we did competition because on Friday and Saturday. That's why I did not meet because in early this month. So that was also the result of my visit. 11 of the children of my children is graduated from the university. So I had to be around. So I tried this Saturday. I told everybody I was not going to speak philosophy for me, and that was not it. So after that, I want all of us to please let us take the Nigerian situation very easy. The present government, they are very happy, they are starting from the very happy. But the necessity I want all of us to start by going to help if our pursuit to improve our educational status. Okay? I said that they are starting with hardship. If you look at the moral system, the value system, we are all asking now to do. Can we say standard or substandard? If it is substandard, why are we making an average of standard?
So, I think we can then start from how we all support ourselves. Start from moral character and values. In those days, when we were young, the education was very tight. And everybody cried, is this a teacher? What has happened between them and us? I wanted to be like my parents used to be. And how does it feel? All the time, you wear white dress. And they always short and just like you know, uniqueness is important. You know, it's not very nice. And kind of the problem will be out in class. Everybody wanted to be a teacher. Where are all those values? Where do these people? Why are we all living to the Netherlands? Those of us that are voting today, we find it out that our Islamic people that we should be very, very frugal. How many of us is in the direction of, showing the plane of theater? The Western culture and they have grown a lot of them. So the way I would think, so please, one of the ways, one of my own advice, all of us, we need to go back to the drawing board and see how we can improve in our moral education. Not only our children, teachers would be students. Because the teachers are supposed to be role models. If what the students are saying in the class is that they are teachers, is the you know the kind of message that I want to say. So I want to appeal to all of us that we should go back and see how we can prevent some of these. And I can assure you, if you take that bold step, all faces of our life will walk back into where they are. I must confess that a lot of times we are going to do that. I hope I know that the word of God I do yeah, and brilliant too. We are talking to us that what we need to do is to have the potential of God and we more and find a way to be accessible to the people in power. Because if all the things they are saying, if they don't buy it from us, we are in trouble. Okay? So I want to appeal to all of us to look at our father. Yes, you are tired, but I'm sure you are not tired. For that, please, we must find a way to ensure that has been working on education for it is close to 2 days. So please, we need to work on all this and make sure that we influence society in a positive, practical way. And I think that is what will bring out all the new things that everyone will need and all the various contributions that are available. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the National Executive Council, I want to commend the Amir of Google District. Like I said, the power of communication are all things that are important, and I pray Allah will continue to help you and
said, I want to thank you for your.
Thank you very much. As the national mayor of the companion, thank you very much. We are wrapping up now. Please bear with us. There were 5 minutes which we have. I got a small note from A.S. Sulaiman, and I'm going to read. He said, my almost suggestion is that the companion should set up a critical committee to convert the presentation into an actionable proposal to the federal government of Nigeria. The presentation should not be allowed to die here. And I think the same thing DDA spoke about, the same thing Dr. General spoke about, the same thing in the mind of quite a number of us here. So the Lagos District Assembly, you have heard, you have said it openly. This is an action plan. Even the National Assembly said it, right? Put up a committee. Let us have a proposal that we can push to government, whether at the state or at the federal level. At the state level, I'm sure the government will be quick and has enough resources to lead in an excellent way and quite a number of things. And at the federal, we have the Minister of Education who was the Vice Chancellor of the private university, and I'm sure when they get things like this, it could be easier taking it to ESCO, Federal Council, and let the government of actually Bola and let Tinubu declare state of emergency in education. That is the thing that should come from government. Thank you all. We will call on the engineer Shabuti to give us a vote of thanks. Is the Honorable Lamir, Lagos State of Parliament.
With thanks to our lecturer, Mr. Khalid Adekoya. My time was in abundance. He has made our day. Not to speech, but completed the presentation. He said he was qualified to provide the lecture, but I'm sure we justify by clear now. And that's what we want to learn. To our leaders here present, I remember what our Sheikh, our father, our grandfather, Sheikh Abu said, that he said he has a duty. If you are turning 70, that does not mean you are going to retire. If a father who has already is already, then you cannot retire at 70. What would change the responsibility to be given to you? We thank all of you for being there with us. For not leaving us on the point of awareness. May Allah continue to be with you. As we age, we pray that we age with grace. To our fraternal sisters, our mothers, we thank you for carrying country your program to attend more than and especially your contribution to national discussion. To you, what has been the result of our prayer. So, brothers and sisters, the Muslim students right over here, other Muslim organizations that we have invited, we appreciate your comments. May Allah will abundantly. We hope that next time we invite you, you will come and think about issues that are current on the topic of everybody you will still apply them. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Before the closing to her, sure, like the number of us are the Nicola Is it right? Okay, I want to sponsor of this Lotus Capital Allied Investment. They have the desk outside, you can come by here to listen to what they have to offer, and you can also listen to Pretoria Alternative that will be of benefit to us. Lotus Capital, thank you for coming. We appreciate you. We look forward to many more joint services in the future. Thank you. They are experts in wealth creation in Malawi, asset management, savings and investment, financial advisory. I'm going to call on Brother Idris Ismail to give us a few things to us. Idris Ismail, please.
We give thanks to Almighty Allah for the opportunity that He has given us so far. We thank Him for giving us the opportunity for today's event. May Almighty Allah who our needs. May Almighty Allah should not let this not be the last one we will be in our head. May Almighty Allah reward us and honor us here at after. Without his head to do. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma la ta'ala sabba illa kabarta wa la amma illa barakta wa la ghanmi illa barakta wa la husni illa barakta wa la dina illa qadita wa la ja'ala illa alaqta wa la marida illa afita wa la fasada illa asdita ولا عدو إلا عبيد أشاء ولا عادة من أوعد الدنيا والآخرة إلا قضيتها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أستغفر الله وأتوب إليه سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين.
We are proceeding for Salat Zuhr in the mosque. And we invite all companions back to the hall after Salah for plenary session. All company members are invited back to the hall after Salah is due for plenary session. Thank you.
Stop. We are going to